3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Legalize Stalling podcast. This is episode 4. As always, I am one of your hosts, Jake Tucker, here with Skylar Crespo. And I don't know, what do you think? What are you thinking for this week?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of news. Maybe not as big of news as recently. It's hard to like have big news when like you have national champions like Figueroa and Ferrari just transferred last week. So it's like kind of seems like these stories aren't as big, but there's a lot going on. I mean, I sent you all the things that have happened since the last cast, and it's quite a bit. So
Yeah, I actually I have one that I was kind of doing some research on before you had even sent over this whole list. John Wiley, the Oklahoma kid. Okay, so I believe last year at the 2024 U23 Nationals, which decides the team essentially, he was the runner-up to Paniro Johnson. And I don't know what happened with Paniro, but I don't think he competed in the U23 Worlds. I think John Wiley went and competed for them. And, kind of flew under the radar. Like, I don't think anybody expected him to even be in the finals, let alone making noise at the U23s last year. And then he comes back. He's at Oklahoma. He wrestles this season, but it's like the tail end. Like, I think he was either planning to redshirt or whatever, and they put him in at Big 12s, I think either at 149 or 157, and he doesn't qualify. And then, like, a week ago, which is like now a month removed from NCAAs, he goes to the Pan Ams and like runs through it. And so it's just kind of crazy, especially when you think now he's in the transfer portal. And what do you think? I mean, it's kind of crazy.
yeah, I mean, I need to do my own research because I'm not very well versed on my John Wiley history, but um, yeah, I don't know. It is weird. Like usually, I feel like everybody, no disrespect to John Wiley, but everybody else on that Pan Am team was like a household name. Um, he doesn't seem to be as much, but he also obviously ran through Pan Am's, like made the U23 World Team. He's not bad, obviously. You don't do those things by accident.
Right.
Um, where do you think he's going?
I got to be honest, this whole transfer portal stuff is just a whirlwind. And trying to pinpoint where these kids might land is just you're going to lose that game. Right? I mean, um, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this list you sent over. Lenny Pinto, Remy Cotton, Hunter Katka, all to Rutgers. That's that's pretty big. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you just filled three massive holes that they had at 84, 97 heavyweight.
yeah,
So I'm looking at, sorry to jump back to John Wiley, but he, I mean, maybe I should give some context to who he's been wrestling, but he hasn't had a season in college where he's finished with a winning record.
yeah. I believe one of those was a redshirt year too.
Yeah, and I mean, last year he went to Daktronics Open, went 1-2, and then also went 1-2 at Big 12s at 149. Yeah, I mean, up and down college career. I'm trying to see if there's any results in here that are standing out to me. Yeah, like we said, it's kind of a up and down, out of nowhere kind of guy. Hopefully, ends up somewhere, can do well. I kind of feel bad for Oklahoma. It seems like a program that like has the history a little bit. Probably should be better than they have been recently. They just got, my name's blanking, Roger Kish from North Dakota State as their new coach.
They just got Brian Soldano out of the transfer portal.
Okay, yeah, Rutgers, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. That seems like to me kind of like a sleeping giant of a program. Like if they got maybe a bigger name, and not to hate on Roger Kish. I mean, he just got there, give him some time and everything, but historically good program that I feel like hasn't been where they should be for the past, I don't know, 10 or so years.
Yeah. It's just kind of interesting because like all the big names that have hit the portal are either former All Americans, maybe they didn't All American in 25, but like they've been on the podium before, or I like big name guys. I mean, this is John Wiley's not a big name, like you said, not a household name at least, but I feel like even he will be getting NIL money, which is, I mean, you got to think maybe in his mind he's like, all right, I just balled out at Pan Am's. My stock has never been higher. Let's take advantage, right?
Yeah, and he probably went to his administration and was like, "Yo, they'll give me some money. So if you guys don't, then I'm gonna leave." I mean, that's kind of how it seems to go. Speaking of the money aspect of the portal and NIL, I listened to Rocky Elam's interview, who committed to. Speaking of, sorry, I'm jumping all around here. You were saying trying to like guess guys in the portal. We jumped back on the last one, said Ethan Miller and Rocky Elam would probably end up at Michigan. Both wrong. But like Tucker said, I mean it's pretty hard to guess. But Rocky Elam, anyway, he on his interview, I appreciated it because he was very honest about like, yeah, money did play a factor. Like I'll be honest, he's like I'm not gonna name numbers, but like money definitely does matter when I make the decision. It's not the entire thing. Basically, is what he said. Um, but it was, yeah, I feel like he's the first guy to at least acknowledge that he's getting paid. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think I mentioned it when we were talking about Ferrari, but it's like everyone's thinking it. I just think it's a little too early in this whole free agency era for people to just be like, yeah, their contract was better.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Kind of a sleeper, I think we should touch on Bryce Hepner to North Carolina. So people don't realize Bryce Hepner has a sneaky good resume. Like when Ohio State would throw him in the lineup, I mean, he would get good wins. I think he's got like 2 wins over Cam Amin, if
I
I'm
was gonna
not.
say I can remember one. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe it's not two. Sorry, Cam. I know.
No, I think you might be right. I think he beat him at like Cleveland State Open or something random.
Yeah, it was one of them was.
Yes, he did. He beat him 6-4 in 2023 at the Cleveland State Open.
Okay, so
Yeah.
once. Okay, that's still a great win.
I mean, he's got more. I mean, I could go through his whole career, but he's got a win over Garrett Thompson, who was a 7 seed last year
He was
at
a 4 seed.
74. Was he a 4?
He was a 4 seed at NCAA's.
Yeah, I think you're right. My bad.
Yeah,
Let me see what else he's got in here. I mean, he's got a win over Bo Mantanona. I mean,
that's a
kid's good.
yeah. So that is like, I feel like that kind of flew under the radar. So North Carolina's looking pretty solid.
Yeah, yeah. Like we talked on last podcast. Like it'll be interesting to see if they're kind of on the up as a program. I would think so with Rob Cole. And like I said, their last year was kind of, I don't know if I would say a disappointing year, but it wasn't an outstanding year for him. So it's kind of like the only thing is up. It seems like to me. So they'll probably have a most improved team type of thing next year.
Yeah. I know I mentioned it in the beginning, but Lenny Pinto, Remy Cotton, and Hunter Katka all to Rutgers. I believe Lenny Pinto is going to be the 74. They have Cartagena Walsh at 84, and then Remy at 97, Katka at heavyweight. Not a lot of people know about Remy Cotton, but us being former Spartans, we know that he's legit. So I think that they're going to be pleasantly surprised with with Remy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if now honestly, I was never on the team with Remy, so I don't know him too well. But kind of a weird personality fit with Rutgers, in my opinion. Like he seems like a really quiet, like to himself kid, and I don't think that's really Rutgers' mantra. But they're a good program. Remy is a good wrestler. Like that'll probably work out for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, I agree. I agree. And then let's see, Christian Carroll to Wyoming. Uh, I saw when he posted it, he put on there. What did he say? Last time, I swear.
Yeah, last time I promise or something like that.
I mean, you know, I just hope he's for real, that he actually sticks around, because
Well,
he's
I
really
think
good.
yeah, he's good. He's good, and he hasn't had the college results that he probably should have based on his high school trajectory. Heard he's going to heavyweight because they got Novak at 97. Um, Seems like they're going to keep him. I think we talked about that earlier in the on a different episode that maybe that's a portal candidate would be Joey Novak from Wyoming, but seems like he's sticking around. They got him a good partner at heavy now. Um, It'll be interesting to see if he sticks around though, because it's all jokes, but he's been at a lot of different places. That's for sure.
Yeah, him and Shittum. I mean, they could start like a group together.
Bishop Sycamore Wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy, man. I could talk
Right.
30 minutes about that. Um, yeah, I guess while we're here, Cody Chittum to Ohio State.
Yeah, it seemed like that was a done deal a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Nothing official came out. Um, we talked about this with Cannon. What do you think the situation is there? You think Chittum 57?
yeah. I would imagine Cannon's going up because Hepner's gone now, and is Gallagher done?
Let's see.
And Brock Herman transferred out. He's going to. Just a side note, Brock Herman was a backup around that 57-65 area for Ohio State, and he had good wins as well. I believe he beat Fish.
I think
Yeah,
he lost close to Chase and beat Fish, but I could be wrong.
yeah. So he's going to Little Rock. So I guess 57 and 65 at Ohio State are going to be Chittum and Cannon. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm looking. So Patty does have another year. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate this is, but WrestleStat has him listed at 174. So maybe that's them taking a guess.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Back to Ohio State. I didn't talk to you about this. I saw a. Did you see Pat Mineo posted like big news for Ohio State, something like that, and Jason Nolf commented on it and was like, "Yes, sir." And then somebody commented and was like, "Coaching?" question mark, and he never responded to it. But it seems like, why would he comment "Yes, sir" on that, right?
I thought they were talking about Munaretto.
Did he train with Munaretto back in the day or something like that? That would make sense, maybe.
I don't think so.
Yeah, what's the Jason Nolf connection there?
I don't know. It seems like he's screwing around with people because we talked for like 10 minutes about him wrestling at the U.S. Open on one of our pods, and it turns out he was just lighting a fire.
Yeah, yeah, man. I don't know. It's hard to like. We want to give you guys information, but then Jason Nolf's over here just tugging our tail.
Yeah. So my guess is it was the Munaretto thing,
That would
uh,
make sense.
which I guess while we're here, Dom Munaretto, U17 world champ, I believe.
Yeah,
I,
kid's good.
you don't quote me on that. From out of Illinois, St. Charles East, projected 25er for life. I would imagine he's small.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good pickup for them.
I think that's an under, like you said, lifetime 25er. That's an underrated trait. Like that's hard to find these days. Just a grown man that can make 25 for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the last one they had was Tom Solo.
Yeah, and even he was 33.
Oh shit, you're right.
But I think that was a let's bulk him up to 33 type of thing because he went
Okay,
back down after, I believe.
okay. Um. Oh wow, I did not even catch this one. I knew that Lachlan McNeil had committed to Michigan. I did not realize Diego Sotelo did as well.
Yeah, the Harvard kid.
Yeah, and he's a Marmion kid.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe Nate knows him. I don't know how well, um, but yeah, that's and you know that Michigan and Illinois have this weird kind of connection. Michigan gets a lot of those Chicagoland area kids,
Yes.
so I'm not surprised by that. But those are two good pickups.
Isn't Bormat from that area?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Damn. Make me look stupid.
My bad, my bad.
um. Yeah. All right.
What else we got?
Well, two big ones. I think that Ethan Styles entering is a surprise. Well, maybe not a surprise, but man, Oregon State. I mean, that was like their one bright light this year. He's gone. He's out of there.
So my instant reaction is you think he goes back to Nebraska?
Oh yeah, he was at Nebraska.
And he was only leaving because he couldn't start behind Ridge or Antrell. Now Ridge is gone. Nebraska's only hole is 149.
That would be crazy.
It would be crazy.
Yeah,
But it seems likely, at least. I mean, I don't know about likely, but it seems possible, I should say.
yeah, I guess possible. Yeah. Um, yeah, he's a tough kid. Um, I'd like to see where he ends up. I would imagine he stays. I don't know. Do you think he stays in the on the Big 12, Pac-12 side of things, or do you think he tries to jump into the Big 10?
I'm trying to look up where he's from right now because
He's
that
a
that
Monty.
can some.
He's a
Go
Monty.
ahead.
I think
Oh,
he's a
man.
Monty kid. Yeah.
I'll say that. I mean, he's gonna do fine wherever he goes. I'll say this: I've noticed when guys transfer from outside of the Big Ten into the Big Ten, sometimes can be a little bit of a shock. I think, and I also think based on the way they've been seeding the NCAA tournament, it's probably an advantage to be outside of the Big Ten. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Garrett Thompson was the 4 seed at 174 this year. No disrespect to Garrett Thompson, but I I thought that seed was a little high.
That was high.
I think they're favoring conference champs in general. So if you can go and win a MAC conference championship or a Pac-12 conference championship, I think that somehow holds more weight than like a Big Ten second or third, which makes no sense. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah, he's an Illinois kid. 49. Who needs a 49? Not Illinois. Nebraska does. Michigan does not. And see, my mind is going to not that it's 100% going to be Nebraska, but Nebraska was recruiting Lachlan McNeil. He commits somewhere else. Maybe that style is saying, "All right, well now's my opportunity." You know,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, I guess jumping into another big portal entry, Peyton Keller, um, 2024 fifth place at 157 from Ohio U. He got injured in like December, I believe. But prior to that, he had wins over. Well, he won the MSU Open. He beat Chase, I remember, which um, that was a big match at the time. I remember I watched it. Um, but yeah, he is really good, like very very good. So I would imagine he goes to like a blue chip program.
I would think so. Being from Ohio, I think. Well, I don't know where he's from originally. I think he is from Ohio originally, also.
Okay.
But your mind goes to Ohio State, but they just filled that need. It feels like with Chittum. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of big schools calling his name. Is Iowa? I mean, Iowa needs a 57 still.
He's from Ohio.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure Iowa would be making a call. Trying to think of other. We need like a spreadsheet of like team needs.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Um,
But yeah, I mean, he's good. I wrestled him back in the day, actually, at MSU Open one year. He's tough. He feel bad for Ohio again, small program, kind of losing a guy. But do you blame the kid? I mean, he can go make six figures in possibly his last year of wrestling. Like
no,
I would do the same thing.
no, yeah, I don't blame him. Um, yeah, yeah, I think you're right on that spreadsheet part. Yeah. Well, what's his name? Lachlan McNeil's a 49. Who do they have coming in at 57?
I talked to Chase, and he told me Cam Catcherbone.
Catch. He's good.
Yeah, he's good. He also told me that. Sorry, Chase, I'm outing you right now, but you guys will probably see the lineup next year. The what's Dylan Gilcher is going to be 65, I think, for them,
Ooh.
and Mantanonas are both going up a weight.
Okay. All right. All right. That makes sense. Dylan Fishback.
Two-time blood rounder, I believe.
Yep.
Is that 84 or 74?
84.
Iowa still needs a 97. I've heard TJ Stewart might be going up from 84 to 97. Do you think Fishback? I mean, I feel like Fishback and TJ Stewart are similar levels. I don't know about size wise for 97. Um, yeah, I don't know where Fishback would end up. Where's he from? You know?
Ohio.
Dylan
But
Fishback is from, yeah, you're right, Ohio.
what about Ohio
Um,
State doesn't need an 84, right?
Geog or Shoemate, right?
Shoemate.
Geog's 97, right? Yeah.
Is Geog still there?
Yeah, I think he was hurt last year.
Okay.
I feel like they have an 84. Oh, Rogotsky? Or is that 74?
No, that's 84. Yeah.
And I think they had Shoemate at 97, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't know where Fishback's gonna end up. Aurora, Ohio. He's a sophomore. He looks like he's probably got some years left.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's only been there 2 years.
Um, Ethan Miller to Virginia Tech. I feel like you kind of know the background of this one. You saw it somewhere, right?
Yeah, so that Bashmania, Justin Bash, I think his name, tweeted out, done deal. Ethan Miller's committed. He's going to announce tomorrow, something along those lines. Comes out the next couple days that he's going to Virginia Tech. Bashmania like replies to his own tweet and was like, "Hey, originally Ethan Miller was a done deal to Iowa State. I guess at the last minute, Virginia Tech was like, "Hey, come on a visit, come check out the program," and they swayed his mind. He flipped from Iowa State to Virginia Tech last minute, which is interesting. The interesting thing to me is Iowa State didn't really need a 57. So you have Pinheiro. You almost have too many guys for the weights that they're recruit. You know what I mean? It didn't really make sense to bring him in to Iowa State. So I don't know what the logic was there. But a good pickup for Virginia Tech. Great program, obviously. I feel like the ACC programs kind of get overlooked sometimes. Virginia Tech and NC State specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting still that his brother's staying at Maryland to me.
Yeah. And I think we talked about that last pod, right? Where we were like, yeah. But I guess when you think about it, Ethan Miller's credentials are a little better than Cal's. So I guess it makes sense. Virginia Tech, though, has been like kind of silent in the transfer portal stuff. I mean, they lost Katka and they lost Stewart. So they lost two guys. But yeah, Ethan Miller's a good pickup, especially with Henson being around that weight, too. That'll be a good training partner for him. So
Yeah, and then I heard Hippolito up to 65 as well because he was there 57 last year. He was tough. I don't know how he finished at NCAAs, but I know
he was a 4 seed.
I was gonna say he was seated very high. Didn't place, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, really talented kid though. Seems like a good three-man group of partners there with Henson, Miller, Hippolito. Makes sense.
Yeah. With the Hippolito thing, I always thought it was interesting. He's from Brazil, and his base is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And when you watch him, he's got a very like judo heavy, like on the feet game. Like I don't know if anyone saw it this year, but if you want to go watch a crazy match, go watch Rafael Hippolito versus Caleb Fish in the duel. Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech. Crazy. I mean, did you watch it?
Yeah, yeah, they were just bombing each other over and over and over again. Um, is he jujitsu? I thought he was judo.
I thought it was jujitsu.
I mean, maybe. I know it's something else, and like you said, his style looks like judo, so that's kind of what I assumed. I guess maybe
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah. I thought it was jujitsu. It might be judo, but I do know that like if you're really good at jujitsu, um, I feel like judo kind of goes hand in hand with it. Like they worry more about judo than they do about wrestling.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. You're more well versed in any other martial art than like I stick to folk style. Like we get to senior level stuff, and I kind of just let you take over. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know anything about jujitsu or judo, so you would know more than I do. Um, he's super. I mean, he's super fun to watch.
That's just what maybe I could be totally wrong. I don't know, but
But yeah, like Tucker said, if you want to watch literally probably the best match of the year, maybe go watch that match from the duel, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, Caleb Fish, Rafael Hippolito.
and I was laughing because we know Fish, and I just remember thinking like David Taylor is probably just like before this match. All right, here's Fish. Here's 5 things don't do against this guy. And Fish just threw them all out the window. Fucking body locks and double unders. He's just getting bombed. They're probably in the corner like this.
Well, the thing is, it would work sometimes. Like sometimes he would start forcing some junk and get it. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah. No, that match was a banger for sure.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to jump into this? Well, Michael Mako commits to Iowa, which is pretty big.
Yeah, son of Steve Mako, wrestled at Iowa for 2 years, then transferred to Oklahoma State. So it'd be interesting to see if his son follows in his footsteps. That would be crazy. No, I'm just kidding. But I did see that he was in attendance for the Iowa Oklahoma State duel, and I guess that was a big part of his commitment. I guess that swayed him a lot. I mean, Bo Bassett's going there. Are they in the same class? Am I correct on saying that?
I'm not sure.
Mako might be a year younger. They have Ross coming in too as well, right? Or is that's Oklahoma State? I'm sorry, Drayshawn Ross is Oklahoma State, correct?
Yes. Drayshawn Ross
Okay,
is State.
yeah, that's what I thought. Um, yeah, big pickup for Iowa. It's interesting to see. This is not the first, but past few years, it seems like Iowa is like very portal heavy in these classes that they're bringing in. They're not as heavy on the high school side. Kind of changing with, you got Bo Bassett coming in. Now you get Mako. They have that New Jersey kid coming in at 25. It's going to be a
Oh,
freshman next year.
Leo DeLuca.
Yeah, he's a hammer.
Yeah, Ayala said that he rolled with him. Ayala said that kid's like ready to go like right now.
Isn't that what anybody would say about their teammate? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I mean, no, the kid's. I would believe it. I mean, he's damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting to see Iowa getting back to the high school recruiting scene.
Jax Forrest switched from junior to senior division in the U.S. Open next week. So he's going to be wrestling with the big boys. Nothing he's not used to, obviously. I mean, he wrestled in the trials last year, so this is nothing crazy for him. It's just crazy though because I mean these senior level guys are probably like, great, now we got another one coming in because he is a contender. He's so good.
Yeah, I'm so glad I never had to wrestle a high schooler while in college because those kids were too good to be entering college opens. Yeah, no, seriously. But 25 or not 25, 157 kilograms, which is basically 125, is, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the weaker weights at the Open, correct?
Yeah.
And not to discredit Forrest or anything, but I think it's weaker because the winner does not get a Final X bid, correct? I could be wrong in this, but I believe because Spencer Lee accepted it, there's some different criteria at 57 kilograms compared to the other weights, I believe.
Yeah, there's like certain weights where like the winner of the Open goes directly to Final X, and then there's other ones that it holds no weight. But I think if you win the Open, it'll give you a better seed at that challenge tournament prior to Final X. I think that's how it goes.
I think you're right, and I think 57 is one of those. It I don't have the entries pulled up, but off of the top of my head, I believe that was like one of the weaker weights for senior level. Um, but yeah, dude, I mean it's crazy. Like, Forrest might be the second best guy we have in America at 57 kilograms. Maybe
Yeah.
Lillidahl. I mean,
So are yeah. Is it confirmed he's going 57?
no,
Okay.
could be wrong there, but I think he's small for 65, right? Or 61 is an option as well, isn't it?
61 is an option, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. All right, let me look this up. I don't want to get too much into the U.S. Open because I'm thinking next week we'll do like a little preview of that, right?
Yeah, that's true. Vito accepted the Final X berth at 61.
Okay, so maybe either way, then it'll be the same scenario. 57, 61. Um, I don't know if I mentioned this on a podcast or I texted it to you or maybe I just was talking to somebody else, but I want to see Jax Forrest wrestle Ono in college. I think that is like a dream matchup.
Must see TV. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned earlier that you were glad you didn't have to wrestle any of those high schoolers. I had to do it one time. When I was a freshman in college. I went to the Open U20, and I met a in the I think it was third round. Ran into a certain guy named David Carr, and I think he was a junior in high school at the time. And I lost, and then I remember I guess maybe he like concussed me or something because like after like for years after I was like, oh, he messed me up like that. And then I was talking to Chris like recently, and I was like, yeah, he beat the hell out of me. And Chris was like, what are you talking about? It was a good match. And then I go back and watch it, and I think it was like 12-8. Like it was
Oh,
pretty.
okay. Hell
So
of a barn
I
burner.
held my own against the junior in high school when I was a freshman in college.
Give yourself some credit. That junior in high school ended up winning a couple NCAA titles. So,
That's true. That's true.
so I don't know if this is the entire entries. This is just contenders that Flo has listed on the article. 57. You got Brandon Courtney, Caleb Smith, Barrick Jordan, Liam Cronin, Brendan McCrone, Sheldon Seymour, Daniel DeShazer, Nico Provo. I'd say if Forrest is in that way, give me Forrest. I don't know if
Agreed.
that's a hot take. Might be
Agreed.
disrespectful to some of those guys, but I would take Forrest. 61 is a lot tougher. 61 is pretty loaded. Marcus Blaze, Dayton Fix, Nashawn Garrett, Seth Gross, Austin DeSanto, Nick Bouzakis, Ben Davino, Nathan Tomasello, Nico Megaludis, Jax Forrest is listed at 61. So that's a banger of a weight, that's for sure.
So Jax is listed at 61.
Yeah, he's the last name on here. My bad. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I think on paper, Marcus Blaze would be the favorite with Dayton Fix right behind him. But I could see any of these guys beating each other.
Yeah, I got to watch Seth Gross wrestle DeSanto at that Flow Night in America or whatever. He looked great. So Seth Gross is obviously one of those guys too that could do something. But yeah, I don't know if it's just this like recency bias of like watching these high school kids just excel at the senior level. But like when I would read that list, I'm like, oh, Blaze and Jax. It's crazy.
I can see Flo posting the highlight already, like Jax takes out Dayton Fix, and it's
Yeah,
like, all
yeah.
right, well, as crazy as that is, it's not that surprising with how good these kids are.
I really wanted to go to the Open this year. I wanted to shoot for whoever would take me, but yeah, I wasn't able to, have a reason to go out there, I guess. But I will be tuning in for the entire tournament. Like I will be watching that whole thing because
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead. No, go ahead. My bad.
It's just, that weight alone is just loaded and stacked. So it's awesome.
The crazy thing to me always about the Open is like how underappreciated it is. Like that list I named off at 61, like that's a tougher group of guys than the 133 bracket at NCAs. Obviously, the NCAs is a much bigger draw, and I don't know if that's just because they're tied to a college team or because it's like folk style or like what the reasoning is. But dude, I mean, all these brackets at the Open are filled with NCAA champs, NCAA finalists, all four-time All Americans. I mean, like you said, it's every match at the U.S. Open past like the quarters is a banger.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hendrickson entered the Open.
Yes, at heavy. I got the
Who's
list
okay.
of yeah, I got the list of contenders. Hendrickson's listed as one. Hayden Zilmer, Nick Feldman, Jordan Wood, Christian Lance, Trent Hilger. I'd say Wyatt's probably the pretty big favorite there. I would say he's a big favorite over any American not named Gable or Mason Paris, right?
Yeah.
And even then, I mean, he could beat Gable obviously, but um,
Yeah.
I want to see him wrestle Paris, honestly.
Yeah, I want to see him wrestle Paris. I want to see him wrestle. It'd be cooler to see him wrestle Gable in freestyle. Um, I'd probably take Gable in that one. I mean, I realize that he just beat Gable, but I don't know. I just like we were talking a couple of pods ago. Like, I don't see anybody getting two in a row on Jesse Mendez. It's like I don't see anybody getting two in a row on Gable. Um, but I am excited to see if Wyatt can make this run and make a world team. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I hope he is. Not to hate on Mason Paris, but kind of a disappointing Olympics. Not to say like, oh, his career's over, get him out of there, but um, I don't know. If we're not going to have Gable go win a gold, it'd be nice to have another American go win a gold, especially with the Olympics being in U.S. in 2028. Got to show out.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Kyle Dake announces he is wrestling in the open. And we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but I don't know if it's 74 or 79 kilos, but
Um, yeah, and he'd said in an interview on Flow that I think he's at least going up until the Olympics type of thing. Like, and I think he said 79 or 86. I would guess 79. I don't know. I mean, I think he's definitely the favorite at 79. It'd probably be more interesting to see him at 86. I would like to see him versus current Zahid. I think Zahid can beat him.
yeah.
Parker Keckeisen and Chance Marstetler are also 86 kilograms. I think those guys could give him a run.
Now, since he medaled at the Olympics, isn't he able to just accept the final X berth?
Only at 74, I believe.
Right. Okay.
And I'm assuming that's a tough weight cut, is my guess, but I don't know. And that he doesn't want to make that all the time. Now, is David Carr in at 79? No, he's in at 74.
74.
I was going to say, I'd like to see David Carr wrestle him because it doesn't always work like this with the transitive property, but David Carr put it on Takatani. Takatani put it on Dake. I mean,
I think it was one of those things though where like Takatani and Dake had wrestled a few times. Like I know they wrestled that previous year at Worlds, and it was like just a fireworks show. Like it was awesome, and Dake like narrowly beat him. So it might be one of those things where it's like, I mean, how many times do you expect me to beat this guy who's really good? You know, it's like, and then David Carr balls out against Takatani. You got to think Takatani and him wrestle a couple more times, like it'll get closer. He's going to close that gap.
for sure, for sure. I don't know. I'm a huge David Carr fan, honestly. I think he gets a little overlooked, probably because he's not a part of Penn State or Iowa. Maybe I don't know. It'd be interesting. Like I've said this on previous casts, I think 74 kilograms is the most interesting weight we have in this next Olympic cycle. Tons of young contenders. Carr looking like one of the best, but I mean Dake just won't go away. He won't quit.
Massive rank, dude.
Messenbrink, O'Toole, Hamidi. I'm
Yeah.
probably missing. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Nolf, if he wants to actually be serious about wrestling again.
Is this a Jason Nolf hate podcast? He embarrassed me a few times in college.
Don't look it up. Don't
Yeah,
look it up.
don't look up that video. That'd be
Just turn in. Just belly out.
you. I listen. If you want to jump into this, we can. But I have an explanation for that.
No,
Why not?
it's easier said than done to fight off your back against Jason Nolf. I believe you.
I just didn't realize. I didn't realize he was doing that. Like I would have turned in if I knew he was doing that. But I was like looking away like this. I thought he was just waiting for me to turn in, and then he was gonna like headlock me.
No, I get it. I get it. Hey,
I,
you know what people do forget is you scored the first takedown in that match, correct?
no, that was the year prior. Every time I wrestled Nolf, I got points on the board.
Right. Offensive points. Offensive points.
Two of them were reversals.
That's offensive.
Okay.
I'll count that. It's not an escape. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it was funny because the one was in rec hall, and I reversed him, and I remember the crowd making a noise like "Whoa!" Yeah, like they were like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Because now he's pissed. Like, let's see what let's see what he does.
Well, do you remember that one kid took him down? This might have been the same year. And
Oh,
then he did the Conor McGregor walk on him.
Toad Rank, I think was his name, Buffalo,
Okay.
and yeah, that was. I feel for him. I didn't dance on Jason Nolf, but I
You
mean, I
should have.
can't imagine the fury he faced after that.
That's funny, dude.
But yeah, back to what we were talking about, 74 for the next Olympic cycle. Um, yeah, I just feel I'm gonna make kind of a hot take here. I think the finals of the Olympic team trials in 28, right? Is it
Yes.
28? I think it'll be Messenbrink and Carr.
I could get on board. I,
Yeah.
I'll be honest. That's what I would like to see. Like if I could pick who I want to make the finals, it would be probably those two. Actually, no, it'd probably be Carr and O'Toole. To be honest, I like O'Toole too.
More history there. Or it'd be really cool if it was O'Toole and Messenbrink because they're like buddies.
It'd be cool if it was O'Toole and Messenbrink and they've never wrestled yet. Like I don't want them to wrestle before. Like have it all come down to this series of three.
They're gonna meet up.
Yeah, they'll probably meet up like next year at the World Team Trials or something stupid. But
I think O'Toole just
um,
had surgery now.
say it again.
I think he
Yeah, he
just
did.
okay.
Yeah, he did. Uh, I'm interested to see like O'Toole, Hamidi, Haynes, that little grouping. I mean, they all seem a little big for 74, a little small for 86. Be interesting to see where they go. I think realistically, all three of them should go down to 74. That's probably their best chance. I
Yeah.
don't think any three of those are beating Zahid, in my opinion. But
Okay. You just want to finish up with national duels talk? I know that we already kind of covered college and then we went into senior level stuff, but this national duels is kind of its own topic. I don't know a ton about it. My dad was sending me some stuff on it. The background essentially being, for years that they would always do like a national duels tournament where they would get like the top 10 teams or whatever. Or would it be the top or would it just be like whoever accepted the invite?
is this back in the day you're talking about?
Yeah, but not that long ago. I mean, this was like maybe a couple of years before I got into college.
Yeah, like 10, 15, 10 years ago, probably.
Something like
Um, I this is when I was growing up, so I wasn't following as much. I thought it was more. I don't think it was like a tournament. I thought it was more like let's just match up some top teams. They'll have one duel, like, and I know there was some factor of like they didn't. It was the top teams that they invited. If they accepted it, they could go type of thing. They didn't want to match up like a Big Ten team versus a Big Ten team, so they would try to make the duels as exciting in that aspect as they could. But I don't know the old details. I have been researching the new details, but you can go back to what it used to be. Speak
I
on that a little more.
don't, yeah, I don't know a ton. I mean, obviously it was like I do remember tuning in every year because it was always entertaining. I mean, something that sticks out is that Iowa versus Mizzou duel when Gilman backpack jump back on Alan Waters. I mean, it was like stuff like that, like you'd see. I mean, it was like high intensity stuff, and it was really entertaining. So I'm glad that they're getting back to it now. I believe this new set of rules or this new layout, there is like a cash prize, right? Maybe not a cash. Well, it's not a cash prize, but that school gets the money.
Yeah, I mean, essentially a cash prize. Yeah. And I might be off on the numbers here, but I think it's like 200, 300 grand to the winner, 100 grand to second, 50 grand to third, something like that. And I think the schools get 20 grand for just showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines. Um, Obviously, a huge draw to pretty much every college program except for Penn State, clearly. But yeah, I mean, why would you not want to go try to win this money? Seems like everybody. So I guess I should give some preference of who they invite. So they invite the top 12 from last year's NCAAs. Um,
I'm
all
looking at
12 of those.
yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You want to read it off?
Automatic entry will be awarded to the top 12 teams in the final 2025 NCAA Division I standings. Penn State, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Iowa, Minnesota, Ohio State, Cornell, NC State, Northern Iowa, Illinois, Virginia Tech, and Michigan. To secure these spots, these 12 teams must complete their participation agreements by April 15th. So tax day. Final teams will be listed on the website as they are confirmed. What website?
There's like a national duels website, I believe.
Oh,
I believe all of the top 12 except for Penn State are in. I could be wrong there.
so Penn State, is it a no, or are they just waiting on confirmation?
No, it's a no. Well, I can't confirm. Like, Kale hasn't come out and said, no, we're not going. But they asked him last year when when this proposition was coming out, these people in Oklahoma were saying, let's bring back the duels, yada, yada. They asked him about it, and don't quote me, but he said something along the lines of, like, you don't need to have every top team there to have a great event. I don't think this is necessarily something that we need to grow the sport. Some basically beating around the bush of saying we're not going to be there is what it sounded like to me.
Okay. All right, I'm on the website. All right, so it's National Duels Invitational, sponsored by Paycom, a total purse of over $1 million at the BOK, the Box Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is actually where Nationals was in 23, I believe. November 15th through the 16th, 2025. 200 grand prize, so $200,000. The second place team will earn 150K, and all participating teams will receive 20 grand. So, putting the best to the test, and it says these are the teams that have like confirmed: Oklahoma State, Iowa, Minnesota, NC State, Michigan, Cornell, Ohio State, Nebraska, Northern Iowa, Illinois. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that have not accepted. So you got to think.
So Penn State is the one out of the top 12, and what's the other one?
I don't know.
Penn State and another school.
Virginia Tech. Yeah, Virginia Tech.
They have not accepted.
No.
Okay.
7, 8, 9, 10.
So
Yeah.
as far as I know, the process for selecting the rest of the teams is random draw 13th through 24th at last year's NCAA. Random draw, and then invite that school. They say yes, they're in. They say no, draw another.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's sick. It's like a lottery system.
Yeah, I hope they broadcast it, like
Oh,
a selection show type of thing.
yeah, and they look at this. They place all the way to 8th.
Yeah, no, they're doing full wrestlebacks.
5th place gets 50K. 6th place gets 40K. 7th place 25K, and 8th place 20K.
Yeah, so there's an incentive to wrestle the whole thing.
Yeah, there's an incentive to show up.
Yeah, yeah.
You never know. Duels are crazy too. Like you never
Crazy.
know.
I mean, you could bump up a guy, and you don't see it as much in college, but I think if it's because duels don't matter in college. And now in this setting, they do.
I don't think they're doing full wrestlebacks, are they?
I mean, you have to if you place top 8.
Yeah, I guess so. Wait, 1, 2, 3. All right. Yeah, this is interesting. This is awesome. I think this is really, really good. I think that they could probably do a better job of marketing it, especially because like we're in the wrestling world, and like I don't know, it's been kind of crazy lately, like our schedules and stuff. But like I haven't heard a ton about it. Like my dad keeps sending me stuff on it, but this is awesome.
Well, it's a long ways away too. It's like right at the beginning of the year, isn't it? Like November, October.
November 15th. It's
Yeah. Okay. Dude, I'd like to go. To be honest, that'd be sweet to be at. I think my biggest gripe as of now is the selection, and I don't know. I can't think of a specific team in that top 12 where this would make, like this example I'm thinking of would make sense. But you're going to get a team, let's say, that has 5 All-Americans and they all graduate. And they were top 12 the last year, but they're not a top 25 team this year. And they're going to be, I think, like UNI is probably going to have a down year compared to last year in Northern Iowa. And they're going to be at these duels automatically. Whereas there might be another team that, added 4 All-Americans in the portal and has 2 kids coming off a red shirt and they're taking a huge jump up and they don't even get invited. So,
Right,
but
right.
it's kind of new. Like, this is the first year they're bringing it back. I'm sure they'll make some tweaks moving forward. I would guess. I would like to see it become like officially the NCAA dual tournament. That would be amazing. I don't think it'll ever happen, sadly, but
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I mean, that would obviously, place more importance on duels. And maybe if they did something like that, the NCAA, maybe they do it like before the individual nationals, and they kind of take they take your dual record into consideration in terms of like seeding and things like that. Obviously, that'll cost the NCAA money, so they probably don't want to do that. But as of right now, it's we're kind of in this weird spot where it's like duels don't. I mean, they don't matter. The individual matches in the duels, they matter. Um, but if you lose a duel, it doesn't matter. Like it, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, if you know wrestling and you like, we understand that duels don't matter. I think maybe to administration at some universities, they think that dual record matters. I think you see some schools that might fluff up their dual record with some lower programs, but yeah, to us, to anybody that knows wrestling, college wrestling understands that duels do not matter whatsoever. Honestly, all that matters right now is how you finish at the individual NCAA tournament. Really, realistically.
Essentially, if I can pander to the crowd that maybe doesn't follow NCAA wrestling like that, you could go 2-6 in conference duels, but if you go to the national tournament in March and come away with 5 All-Americans, nobody's going to remember your 2-6 dual record. They're just going to remember that the team had a good NCAA tournament, and that's just how it is.
Yeah. And you'd said before you would move the dual tournament to right before the individuals, which is how most like high school organizations do it, and that makes sense too. I always had the theory that we should kind of split it by semesters, and maybe and you could do it one way or the other, but I think dual first would be better. First semester, just duals, right? You have like your dual regular season. Right around Christmas, have your dual national championship. Kids go back for break, get a little reset, come back, and then would it be January, February would be like your tournament schedule. It kind of goes into individual season, and then you have individual nationals at the end. That's just an idea I had, because I think if you put the dual tournament right behind the individual tournament, you're gonna have coaches like sitting guys for the dual tournament, or maybe you'll have coaches sending guys at the dual tournament and then they get hurt and then they don't go to individuals, something like that. You know what I mean? I think there's a reason they're so spread apart, and I think coaches want them to be spread apart like that.
I think you're right. Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I I have a lot of issues with the way the college wrestling is set up, especially because, well, first off, I think it's too long. I think the season's too long. I also think, especially in Big Ten play, I mean, that's a long part of the season. Also, I mean, I went through it 4 times, like the travel and wrestling the best guys in the country every Friday and Sunday, and it's just tough on your. It's tough up here, and it's tough, physically as well. I think that they'd be cool if they did something like instead of a Friday Sunday, they consolidate everything into like a Friday, and maybe they do like a try or a quad. I think it would save money, truthfully.
That makes sense because we were doing tries and quads during COVID,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming that's because there's the medical aspect, but there's also the let's save some money here. There's
Mhm.
no point in us flying all the way over there for 6 minutes of wrestling.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would definitely make sense. I think it would be. I don't know. I guess I haven't thought about this too much, but like you said, to just one day, like college footballs are played on Saturdays, right? Like you don't have guys playing football. I mean, sometimes you do in the MAC, you have them playing on Tuesday or whatever, but yeah, it would be cool to like get more of a routine, I guess, for college wrestlers to hey, every Friday we compete. You don't have to make weight 48 hours later
Right.
for one match, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So just yeah, that's just some ideas I've had. So I know that the NCAA has a lot of people listening to our podcast. So I mean, they're probably taking notes right now. You'd think, right?
Yeah, I'll probably get a text after we get off the show.
Cool, cool. All right. I mean, I think that's all we got, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Um, I know this is a little bit of a delayed one this week. Usually we drop on Tuesdays, but we had to kind of push it back. We've had kind of a crazy week, me and Crespo here. But thank you guys for listening. Crespo, you got anything?
No, shout out to the people listening. Give us feedback, comment, text us if you know us, whatever. But we're pretty new at this, trying things out. There's things you like, let us know. There's things you don't like, let us know. But yeah, good stuff, man.
All right. That is episode 4 of the Legalize Stalling podcast, and that is a wrap.
Yes, sir.